Hello and welcome back to the CleanSlate theme development tutorial series. My name is Adam and today we are going to be talking about the almighty editable region in CleanSlate. Editable regions are the backbone of CleanSlate. It's what content editors use to put in content into a page, onto a page, and into the system. First, I'm going to show you what that looks like. I go back to my CleanSlate demo site and say I click on Edit a New Tab for future students. Editable regions are outlined by this blue outline. For example, this is the main editable region and this is the sidebar editable region. And then down here, the footer, we actually have another type of editable region that has this kind of gold outline. And I don't know, it's probably pretty tough to see down there, but so what happens here is the main and sidebar editable regions are normal editable regions, and then the footer editable region is a global editable region. We use global editable regions for content that we want to be able to change in the UI, but that can persist across every page on our site. So we want people in this case to be able to edit their contact information in the footer, and we want to have that contact information show up across every page of the site, and we want to make sure that's editable for our content authors in case they change their name or their phone number or email address or what have you. So now that we kind of can see what an editable region is here, what does it look like in the code? So I'm going to go back to our CleanSlate toolkit once more, and I'm going to click on Views, and that template that we were just looking at right there is the Backpage template, so I'm going to click on that. Now, an editable region, in order to make an editable region, this is all that you have to do. It's r:editable _region, and then you give it a name equals something. So in this inside these quotation marks, we recommend people stick to lowercase, don't include spaces. This should follow the same kind of conventions as making tags in HTML. For example, this template includes a main editable region right here and a sidebar editable region on the sidebar. So to come back to this page, this is the main editable region. We can come in here and make things bold. We can add headings up here. We can do all kinds of stuff with our editable region. We can add links to different pages, different files. We can add images via the media modal. We can even go in and actually edit the HTML that is in this editable region. So, yep. So this is the main editable region. This is the sidebar editable region. Now I'm going to go over what it looks like to actually have this global editable region and what the code looks like for that. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to take this and go back to my code editor here, and I'm going to paste this in. I'm going to rename this to footer. And if you want to make a global editable region, what you would type is you would add an attribute called scope equals site. And what this will do is it will make the editable region available across all different pages of your site wherever that it's included in a template. So in the case of our footer, I'm going to go back to our page here. The footer appears on every page on our site because it's included in the layout, and this editable region is called editable region name footer scope equals site. So it's going to basically be able to, we can change this to the honors program and hit publish, and that publish change would be reflected not only on this page but on every page across the site. One quick pro tip for when you are making global editable regions: if you have a editable region that has been pushed up to your theme and is used already in production, and you want to make it a global editable region, aka you add the scope equals site, I would highly recommend that you change the name of the editable region, so that the system does not get confused, because it's actually putting these editable regions in a different spot in the database for editable regions with scope equals site. So moral of the story, if you have an existing editable region and you add scope equals site to it, make sure you change the name. So that's a pretty simple example of what it looks like to have a couple editable regions on a page. Let's look at another page that has a couple more. So for example, this is a student org theme that we provide to West Virginia University's student org and student organizations. And we have a number of different editable regions on this page, in different places. So this one's intended to be used for this image. There's some here that are intended to be used for headings and paragraphs and whatever. So we can essentially make these different editable regions editable by the content authors. There's one thing that I wanted to point out that's pretty unique on this page, is that there's two editable regions here at the top highlighting this H1 tag. And you'll notice if I click on the Create Adventure editable region, it has these formatting options available to us. Whereas if we click on this Everyday editable region, it does not have these formatting options available to us. So what's going on there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over back into here, and I'm going to have an H1 tag, and we're going to copy this, create adventure, and then we're going to wrap this one in everyday right here. So what's happening here is we're going to make an editable region that goes around create adventure. Remember, our editable region name equals, I don't know, heading 1 start, let's say, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to say, I'm not going to close it because I can actually put this in here to have this content exist by default. So when we load the page, Create Adventure will be preloaded, as you see it right here, into this editable region. Now that we have this span tag here, I'm going to kind of do the same thing for this this text right here. So I'm going to add another editable region, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, paste that in here, and call that end, and then close it back down here. And remember, this will have everyday automatically inserted into this editable region. Now, there is a subtle difference between these two editable regions. One has editing capabilities and the other one does not. So there can definitely be times where you don't want your content authors to be able to edit the content inside an editable region, or edit like the formatting of it inside the editable region. And what you can do to limit that is you can say type equals simple. So what this type equals simple does is it actually removes the ability to link stuff, add images, edit the HTML. It is just a place that they can enter text, and that is it. This can be helpful in a number of situations. This is one of the situations that you might see. Another situation that you might see this used is, for example, in a 3-column layout or 2-column layout, something like this. You can actually have, let's pretend that this is an heading 2. You could have your heading 2 be like this, and you could then have your editable region. Keep in mind, editable region names must be unique, and I'm going to make this type equals simple. What this is going to do is it's basically going to only allow the content authors to enter text in here and nothing else. It won't let them bold it. It won't let them add another heading, because you've already actually put a heading and or surrounded this editable region with a heading, so you don't want them doing anything else. So it's pretty helpful for things like that. And I mentioned that all editable regions should have unique names. So if I called this triptych heading 1, this one might be triptych heading 2, this one might be triptych heading 3. If you have the same editable region name and you enter content into, let's pretend that we have the same editable region name here, here, and here. Let's say we're going to pretend that's triptych heading 1. Any content that you enter in the first one is going to be like duplicated to these other ones. So moral of the story, you always want to have a unique editable region name. So that pretty much wraps up editable regions. They're super powerful on the backbone of CleanSlate CMS. They allow you to do a lot with very little code. So make sure you take some time to go over these concepts, maybe take this code, see if you can implement it in a theme that you have to try out, and push it to production to see how it all works. In the next video, we are going to talk about outputting navigation on your site. Anything from your main navigation to your sidebar navigation to custom navigation, we're going to cover it all. So stay tuned.